Joining me now, as he does every week, is former Victorian Liberal Party President Michael Kroger. Stephen Conroy not with us today, but I am pleased to say we're joined by former Labor advisor now with Council House, Andrew Porter. Great to see you both. Michael, first to you, new Liberal leader in Victoria. What needs to be his focus to get them back in the game in your state?
Yeah, well done to John Pesciuto, who won today against Brad Batten, also another a very long-serving and very good party member. So good luck to John for the future. He worked incredibly hard to win that seat back, and he deserved every success he had at the election. And now as leader, well, I think the future of the party is in the middle-class voters, the working middle class, the outer-suburban areas where people are doing it tough. They rely on a government with strong economic management. So ultimately, the battle for the party is to win the hearts and minds of all of those marginal seats, and they are largely in the, as I said, in the middle class suburbs on the outer fringes of Melbourne and in some country areas. So policies directed towards them has to be the ultimate focus, Kieran.
So it's Andrew Porter, a bit of a shift for the Liberal Party away from those areas, particularly where John Pesciuto himself had a fight in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. But I guess for the likes of Josh Frydenberg and others watching this contest closely, they will be hoping to keep that Liberal Party heartland.
I think that's right, Kieran. I think Sky was obviously first in calling the result on election night. Your coverage, together with Michael, Stephen, Tom Connell and others. So you got that right early, and you got it right pretty well on that pathway to victory piece. So those seats, particularly on the Sandbelt and in Melbourne's inner east, that the Liberal Party failed to connect with at the state level. We saw some overlay with some of those at the federal election and the federal teal seats. I think it's difficult to just assume that those seats will somehow return to Tim Wilson, much less to Josh Frydenberg automatically. It's going to require a lot of work, but clearly the messaging that we've heard from Michael there, very similar to James Newbury's messaging the other day, is absolutely where they need to be. They need to be targeting those seats that constitute their historical heartland that they just did not get the result that they needed in a week and a bit ago.
Michael, can you do both? Can you sort of broaden the appeal to those outer suburban areas and still hold the likes of, say, a Kew or a Hawthorn at the state level or a Kooyong federally? Can you sort of achieve both?
It's a very good point, and the truthful answer is, mate, it's harder than it was years ago, because there is now a large disconnect between the wealthy centre-right voter in Higgins and Kooyong and Goldstein and the working middle class. And so, as Menzies used to say, the rich people can look after themselves. I'm more concerned about the forgotten people. And so those people who don't rely on government, Liberal or Labor, who've got sufficient wealth to spend time on, other causes that the Teals are interested in, such as, integrity commissions, global warming, etc. Those people that don't have high mortgages, that are not stressed by rising power prices, not worried about value of their homes, etc. Those people who are sort of very wealthy are not the same voters that the coalition needs to attract in Cranbourne and Frankston and in the outer suburban seats. We just lost a seat today, Pakenham, just very narrowly. Our great candidate David Farrell just narrowly missed out on that. No, that's a different. Quite frankly, that's a different voter in this day and age. These people are worried about mortgage rates, cost of living, the cost of cars, petrol, food, schooling, etc. The ordinary day-to-day issues. They are the issues that affect those people. Childcare. So the older inner city, wealthier voters, that is a different cohort. And you're quite right. It is more difficult now than it ever was before to appeal to both those sets of voters. They are not one and the same group of people, mate.